We're going to begin with a land acknowledgement. The CHEO Research Institute is grounded in a connection to the land and its people and those we serve across the Greater Ontario, the Eastern Ontario region, Western Quebec, and the Quickatawak region of Nunavut, and the researchers, physicians, staff, and volunteers who care for them. We would like to acknowledge that we are located upon the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin peoples and respect the traditional knowledge and healing developed over generations. We have the privilege and responsibility to serve First Nations, Métis, and Inuit of many backgrounds and from many treaty and non treaty lands and territories, and to demonstrate respect for the contributions and cultures of Indigenous peoples. I ask everyone to take a moment to reflect. Thank you all for joining us here today to recognize a truly extraordinary achievement by one of our research teams. A special welcome to Commissioner Philippe Dufresne, Privacy Commissioner of Canada and Chair of the Global Privacy Assembly, Commissioner Patricia Kusim, Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Dr. Alejandro Mayoral Baños, Executive Director of Access Now, the Global Privacy Assembly and Access Now, whose partnership and leadership have made this international recognition possible, and our colleagues and partners from the Better Outcomes Registry and Network Born Ontario, and the Canadian Institutes for Health Information, CHEO, and across all the research and health sectors who are here today. Today is an opportunity to come together and celebrate an extraordinary achievement by Dr. Khaled El Emam and the Electronic Health Information Laboratory, or EHIL. It is an opportunity to recognize years of leadership, innovation, and collaboration in advancing trusted health data and privacy-preserving research. We are truly grateful to the Global Privacy Assembly and Access Now for their leadership and partnership in ensuring this important achievement can be recognized and celebrated with our community. While circumstances prevented the broader RightsCon community from gathering this year, we are pleased to have the opportunity to come together and recognize this accomplishment here today. Most importantly, today allows us to celebrate and learn from the people behind the work and the positive impact they are having on privacy-preserving health research around the world. At the CHEO Research Institute, we believe that world-class research begins with trust. Families trust us as custodians of their information, their lived experiences, and their participation in research. That trust is truly foundational to everything we do. EHIL's work reflects that commitment by enabling researchers to use health data in ways that protect and preserve privacy to ultimately improve care and outcomes for children, youth, and their families. The work of Dr. Khaled El Emam and the EHIL team demonstrates that data, innovation, privacy, and public trust can advance together. EHIL has become a global leader in privacy-preserving technologies and trusted health data research. Their work is helping researchers, health systems, and governments unlock the value of health data while maintaining the highest standards of privacy, security, and ethical stewardship. Today's award is made possible through the leadership and partnership of the Global Privacy Assembly and Access Now. In a moment, we'll hear more about the award itself, its purpose, and what this recognition represents on the global stage. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alejandro Mayoral Baños, Co-Executive Director of Access Now, where he leads efforts to advance and defend the digital rights of people and communities around the world. A respected advocate, scholar, and community leader, Dr. Mayoral Baños is recognized for his work at the intersection of digital rights, Indigenous communities, and technology. He is the founder of the Indigenous Friends Association in Canada and the Magtayani in Mexico, and his work has supported communities across the Americas and through international organizations, including the United Nations. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Alejandro Mayoral Baños.
Thank you, Dr. Berman, and thank you to CHO for hosting us today. It is an honor to gather with all of you. We are deeply grateful to colleagues across the Global Privacy Assembly and CHO for making this rescheduled ceremony possible. We had originally planned to present this award at RightsCon in Lusaka, a global platform dedicated to promoting and defending privacy and other fundamental human rights. When RightsCon was canceled this past May, we were determined not to lose this opportunity to shine a light on this important work. That determination feels particularly important today. Communities defending human rights are under immense pressure around the world, and civic space continues to shrink. We are also seeing privacy and data protection rights weakened in the name of national security, cybersecurity, or public safety. Overly broad cybercrime and other protective laws can weaken encryption, give investigative authorities expansive powers without adequate safeguards, and criminalize legitimate expression, dissent, and the work of journalists and human rights defenders. These pressures are only becoming more significant with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, which has placed robust data protection back at the very center of digital policy. This matters everywhere, but perhaps nowhere more than in healthcare. We should not have to sacrifice our privacy or surrender control over our personal data to advance public health and medical research. Protecting human rights must be integral to how that work is carried out. That is why the partnership behind this award matters. Access Now and the Global Privacy Assembly share a conviction that privacy is not an obstacle to progress, but one of its foundations. The careful process of evaluating this year's candidates reflects that shared commitment. This year's recipient demonstrates, better than almost anyone, how complex technical and policy challenges can be navigated in service of people. Our connection to Zambia is also reflected in the award itself. We collaborated with Free, a wonderful non-for-profit organization in Lusaka dedicated to women's empowerment, to create a handcrafted award from full form copper set on a wooden base. Although the physical award couldn't not be with us today, its meaning remains very much present. It is a powerful symbol of resilience, collaboration, and global solidarity. In its place, we have prepared a certificate so that we can formally recognize and celebrate our recipient today. To officially introduce this year's outstanding recipient and join me in honoring them, I'm delighted to welcome Commissioner Different. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank CHEO and Dr. Berman and colleagues for your kind welcome and for hosting this important ceremony to present this year's Privacy and Human Rights Award. I've long been an admirer, indeed, my family and I have been beneficiaries of CHEO's excellence in providing healthcare services to the children of Ottawa and beyond. And indeed, I know that we can say that all families in Ottawa have a CHEO story. The innovative work at the CHEO Research Institute is world-class, as highlighted by the research that we are here to celebrate and recognize. I also want to express my appreciation to Alejandro Mayoral Baños. I'm so grateful for the partnership and for Access Now's role and collaboration with the GPA in this important global award. As well, I wish to acknowledge my provincial counterpart and friend, Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Patricia Kasim, who nominated this year's winner and is here with us today. Je vais répéter en français. Merci beaucoup, Dr. Berman. Merci à CHEO pour cet accueil, pour cet événement important et pour le leadership extraordinaire dans la protection de la santé des enfants à Ottawa, dont nous bénéficions tous, les familles à Ottawa. Et bravo pour l'excellente innovation de l'Institut de recherche de CHEO qui sont d'envergure mondiale, comme en témoigneront les recherches que nous sommes venus célébrer ici. Merci à Alejandro Mayoral Baños, merci à Access Now pour le partenariat important dans le cadre de ce prix international. Et je note la présence de mon homologue provincial et mon ami Pat Kosim, commissaire à l'information et à la protection de la vie privée de l'Ontario, qui a proposé la candidature de l'organisation lauréate de cette année et qui est parmi nous aujourd'hui. I'm delighted to be here in my role as the chair of the Global Privacy Assembly, as well as its Data Protection and Other Rights and Freedoms Working Group, which developed and implements the award on behalf of the Assembly. Privacy and Human Rights Award celebrates the work that is being done by organizations around the world. The Electronic Health Information Laboratory within the CHEO Research Institute is a pioneer and world leader in privacy enhancing technologies. Healthcare research, like so many fields in today's data-driven world, relies on personal information to progress. Data is one of the most important resources of the 21st century. It can support and fuel innovation, and how it is managed and protected can shape the ability to lead and succeed globally. This is because trust in how data is handled is an important factor in how individuals interact with organizations and technology, particularly emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence. EHIL's director and founder, Dr. Khaled El Emam, saw a challenge. How can we enable cutting-edge healthcare research and avoid creating privacy risks for patients? He recognized that just as data is used to fuel innovation, innovation can also be used to protect data. Privacy-enhancing technologies that Dr. El Emam and his team have developed at the CHEO Research Institute support health data sharing for purposes such as research and public health monitoring and analysis and responsible AI development without compromising privacy. EHIL's work has set standards and shaped guidance on privacy-enhancing technologies internationally. The tools that EHIL has created are used by hospitals, researchers, and industry partners around the world for safe access to data, responsible AI development, and ethical clinical research. This has benefited a wide variety of communities, from patients, including vulnerable communities such as persons with rare diseases, children, and the elderly, whose personal information is protected even as it supports improved care and research, to researchers and clinicians who gain practical tools for conducting studies and developing treatment. EHIL's research in privacy-enhancing technologies is already having an impact, with some innovations currently being deployed in practice. Ultimately, in addition to privacy, EHIL's work supports the fundamental human right to health, recognized by the United Nations and the World Health Organization, and the right to benefit from scientific progress. Canadians and individuals around the world deserve both protection of their fundamental rights and technological progress. As I often say, and as we often say at the GPA, it is not a zero-sum game. Les Canadiens et les individus partout dans le monde méritent les deux, protection de leurs droits fondamentaux et le progrès technologique. Comme nous le disons souvent à l'Assemblée mondiale de la vie privée, ce n'est pas un jeu à somme nulle. EHIL is an excellent demonstration of how prioritizing privacy and fostering innovation is not a zero-sum game. Technological advancement and fundamental rights can, do, and must coexist. Privacy-enhancing technologies in healthcare help to drive trust in the use of AI technologies in this space and ensure that personal information is handled in a way that respects individuals' fundamental right to privacy and the security of their data. This applies well beyond the health sector, and EHIL's example should inspire all organizations to seek to innovate for privacy today to build a trusted tomorrow. As Privacy Commissioner of Canada, I'm extremely pleased for the opportunity to present this year's award to an organization that embodies Canadian leadership globally in privacy innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Khaled El Emam, who will be accepting the 2026 Privacy and Human Rights Award on behalf of CHEO's Electronic Health Information Laboratory.
Thank you very much. So my team, thank you very much everyone for attending today. My team and I are deeply honored to receive this award. Data has enormous value in helping address societal challenges, particularly in healthcare. For more than 20 years, actually 22 years, our lab has been developing practical ways to enable research, care, and innovation through responsible, ethical, and privacy protective data use, so that people do not need to choose between the right to privacy and the right to health. We are grateful that this award recognizes the scientific work behind this effort, its contributions to privacy and human rights, and its practical impact through methods, tools, as well as spin-off technologies and companies that help organizations put responsible data use into practice globally. I wanted first to thank a few important organizations. I want to start with the CHEO Research Institute, which 22 years ago, when we started the lab, it was an unusual thing to have a medical informatics lab in a hospital. And there was vision and strong leadership that made it happen. So I think that has to be acknowledged, and this is what brought us to this point today. But given that this is a data discussion, I would like to also share some data with you. So over the last 22 years, we've raised more than $40 million in direct and indirect funding as PI and co-PI PIs on projects. And through those, we've had in total 62 staff go through the lab and trainees. 51 of them were students from undergraduate to postdoctoral fellows. And we've had some academic metrics, more than 435 publications, more than 25 patents granted and filed. And we've also had 4 spin-off companies and startups that were affiliated with the lab that have developed technologies and applied them in practice. And of course, this is not the end of the ride. We still have hopefully another 20 years. So we'll see what we can accomplish over that time. And with that, I would like to pass the podium to the Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Patricia Kusim, to say a few words. And also I would like to thank her very much for nominating the lab for this award.
Commissioner Kusim began her second term as Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner in 2025 and is widely recognized as one of Canada's leading voices on privacy, health law, and data governance. Throughout her distinguished career, she has held senior leadership roles across the public, private, and health sectors, helping shape policy and practice, the intersection of privacy, innovation, and public trust. Commissioner Kusim is no stranger to the CHEO Research Institute. She recently joined us at a board retreat to speak about the privacy landscape in Ontario and welcome Dr. El Emam as the IPC Scholar in Residence in 2024. Thank you for joining us today, Commissioner Kusim.
Now, if I was a real pro, I could do this off script, but I am going to take my second device as a backup here and tell you a few prepared remarks that I made in honor of this great celebration. Premièrement, j'aimerais remercier l'Institut de recherche du Centre hospitalier pour enfants de l'Est de l'Ontario de son invitation d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui. J'aimerais aussi remercier le Commissariat à la protection de la vie privée et Access Now de leur leadership mondial en ayant créé ce prix international. C'est un grand plaisir d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui pour vous parler de la mise en candidature par notre bureau de l'Electronic Health Information Laboratory, EHIL, pour le prix de la vie privée et des droits de la personne 2026 accordé par l'Assemblée mondiale pour la protection de la vie privée sous la présidence de notre commissaire fédéral, Philippe Dufresne. I am going to speak about EHIL and all of its incredible successes, but allow me to say a few words about its fearless leader first. I've known Dr. El Emam for decades. So long, in fact, that I cannot for the life of me remember how we met. Sometimes, somewhere along my journey, either at CIHR or Genome Canada or at the OPC, somebody must have said to me, Patricia, there is this amazing smart electronic engineer doing great work on de-identification of health data that you must absolutely meet. And so I did. Khaled and I have since sat on many panels together. We worked together on countless advisory committees, co-founded the Canadian Anonymization Network, or CANON, and we've published together. I've hired some of his finest students and saw firsthand the results of his inspiration and mentorship, some of whom have secretly admitted to me that they have actually slept in his laboratory. That's how hard they worked. They had a cot, apparently, for. As it turns out, we're both alumni of King's College London in the UK, and we are both very early birds. In fact, on many occasions, we have emailed each other at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I kid you not. Most recently, I've had the pleasure of working with Khaled during his time as scholar in residence at my office, the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, or the IPC. His expertise has been invaluable to us, and he continues to advise the IPC as a member of our Strategic Advisory Council. Throughout all of my encounters with Khaled, I've been able to witness the common threads that connect them all. An incredible work ethic, a genuine passion for what he does, consistency and perseverance of mission, and tireless efforts to protect health data in a useful and pragmatic way that still allows important research and innovation to flourish. And those qualities have been passed on to countless researchers and students who graduated from the lab. His work at EHIL in harnessing data as a force for public good in the health sector has been pioneering in prioritizing at the same time the protection of privacy. Organizations increasingly rely on more and more data, including sensitive personal data, health data, to conduct research, improve care, and develop innovative solutions. But these advances cannot come at the expense of privacy and human rights. Without clear and robust guidance that's practical and operational to follow, organizations hesitate to use or share data for research, foregoing important opportunities for health benefits. Or conversely, they might use or share data carelessly and unknowingly, giving rise to unnecessary risks. EHIL's work addresses this high-stakes challenge directly. EHIL has created practical, defensible methods that allow society to benefit from innovations by unlocking the value of data safely and responsibly without compromising human rights or privacy rights. EHIL's groundbreaking research on privacy-enhancing technologies, including de-identification and synthetic data, have shaped how we address and mitigate the risks privacy and human rights impacts on data use. Sorry, I would have brought my reading glasses if I knew. This research has led to practical tools and resources used by hospitals, researchers, data custodians, regulators, and industry partners for safe access to data, ethical clinical research, and responsible AI development. In addition to its practical lab work, EHIL has also taken a leadership role in advocacy. The team has appeared before parliamentary committees, contributing to legislative developments. They've appeared as de-identification experts before the courts. They have helped update and expand my office's de-identification guidelines as well as anonymization guidance from Health Canada. Internationally, EHIL's methods and publications have informed global data standards, including ISO standards, and have influenced emerging guidance on privacy-enhancing technologies across jurisdictions and health research networks. Few groups globally have contributed as consistently or substantively to bridging privacy protection with socially beneficial data use, both nationally and internationally. Technological progress often bypasses vulnerable populations, creating a divide both within and across jurisdictions, where innovation benefits the privileged first. EHIL's outputs, grounded in rigorous science, privacy ethics, and human rights principles, and real-world deployment addresses these critical gaps. By augmenting limited data sets of smaller populations, including those suffering from rare diseases, EHIL is helping ensure that the benefits of research and AI are distributed fairly and equitably, and that no one is left behind. EHIL's work proves that increasing privacy protection and socially beneficial data are not mutually exclusive. Citizens of the world can and should benefit from data-driven research and AI without compromising their human rights and privacy rights. These are just some of the reasons why I was honored to nominate EHIL for the 2026 GPA Privacy and Human Rights Award. Please join me once again in congratulating Dr. El Emam and his entire team at EHIL. Thank you.
Again, a huge congratulations to Khaled and his EHIL team. We are so proud of everything you've accomplished, and building on the commissioner's comments, really proud that this has taken place in a children's hospital, right? Probably some of our most vulnerable research participants are children and their families. So we're now going to move into the showcase portion of today's events, where Dr. El Emam is going to provide a bit of a presentation. You've heard a lot about what EHIL does. He's going to show that to you. Then we'll hear from Alicia St. Hill, who's the Executive Director of Bourne, and then from Jordan Hunt, who's the Director of Data Governance at CHEO. So, Khaled.
All right. Thank you again, Commissioner Hussein, for kind words and for the nomination as well. And again, I would like to thank the GPA and Access Now for the award. Also want to mention that I think most of my Ottawa team or all of my Ottawa team are here today. So again, I'd like to thank them for everything they do. And so I wanted to take this moment to just give you a little bit of background about the lab and some of the principles and ideas behind it and some of the things that we've worked on. As I mentioned before, our lab has been around for 22 years. We started it in 2004 here at the CHEO Research Institute. Throughout that time, we had three main principles that guided our work. And I think they're important principles for understanding where we are today. We started the lab by focusing on the problem of providing access responsibly to health data. Health data is very sensitive data, and therefore great care and diligence is needed when sharing and reusing it. At the same time, it's also very valuable data in that it can enable innovation that can be very impactful and that can lead to discoveries which help patients and their families. As a researcher and a data analyst, I have direct experience with the friction that exists to get access to data and the potential benefits of using that data. So this is very close to my heart and very close to a lot of the work that I've been doing throughout my career. So let me get to the three principles, which I think are important general principles for running a lab and doing work that is useful. The first principle is that the work we do should always have an impact. While all of the academic metrics are important, and I presented some of those earlier on, at the end of the day, our work will be most useful if it is translated into products and into policies that are adopted and enacted nationally and internationally. The second principle is that our work, by its very nature, is multidisciplinary. This means that we've had very strong collaborations and partnerships with lawyers, ethicists, clinicians, computer scientists, and mathematicians over the years, as well as policymakers and regulators. Complex problems can only be solved by having multiple experts and multiple perspectives at the table. The third principle is that technology is an important part of solving problems in the privacy and human rights space. In addition to laws, regulations, policies, and processes, technology can tackle difficult processes and transactions. And we have to make this technology easy to use and affordable. So it's a complement to all the other tools that we have to solve privacy problems and to enable access to health data. The technologies that we have developed include those for the anonymization of health data, technologies for the generation of synthetic data, technologies for secure multi-party computation, and also methods for benchmarking and evaluation of all of the above. All of these are different types of privacy-enhancing technologies, and with the powerful capabilities of artificial intelligence tools today, these privacy-enhancing technologies can be accessible by a wider user community. At the same time, because of artificial intelligence, the risk environment is changing very quickly, and the risks to data privacy are only increasing. Therefore, this type of work must continue and accelerate to maintain trust and the social license to continue using this health data. I'd like to thank you again, and I really appreciate and truly am humbled by this recognition. And now I would like to introduce two organizations that we have worked with over the years. Actually, these two organizations have been collaborators and partners for most of our journey for the last 15, 20 years. I would first like to ask Alicia St. Hill, who's the Executive Director of Ontario's Better Outcomes Registry and Network, BORN, which includes Prenatal Screening Ontario, the Prenatal Screening Ontario program, which are provincial programs at CHEO. Her career spans health policy, care delivery management, quality improvement, and health information technology in both Washington, D.C. and Ontario. And I would like to invite her to come and say a few words about the work we've done together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour. My name is Alicia St. Hill, and as mentioned, I'm the Executive Director at BORN. It's a real pleasure to be here today on behalf of BORN Ontario to celebrate EHIL and this extraordinary recognition from the Global Privacy Assembly. It was an easy invitation to accept, to be honest. This is a partnership with Khaled and the EHIL team that's easy to speak about, and it's a relationship that has lasted over 15 years and shaped how we think, how we work, and how we continue to imagine what's possible in terms of advancing health with personal health information. We've literally had this privacy mastermind and the brain trust of the EHIL team down the hall from us at the Center of Practice Changing Research here. Serendipitous, yes, but wildly beneficial, and I'll share a few examples. Under the Personal Health Information and Protection Act of Ontario, CHEO has been given this great, unique, highly privileged authority to gather intelligence from personal health information, often without consent, through the BORN Ontario team across pregnancy experiences and child health experiences. Respecting the privilege and the population trust that grants us to have that privilege is paramount to us. From BORN's earliest days, the people who brought about this team have understood that the real value in data isn't in collecting it. It's in using it to improve the health of mothers, families, and babies. They knew that connecting the information across pregnancy, birth, childhood could create opportunities to answer a wild number of questions and improve care prospectively and retrospectively as we reflect on what we've done. Whether it's understanding IVF outcomes or the impact of smoking or cannabis on pregnancy, how well prenatal screening is working, or the labor and delivery outcomes and interventions we use there, or even how newborn screening results translates into how we diagnose those children in the days after they're born. The possibilities were enormous. As more researchers and care teams from outside of our team began using this information, there were times when record level data was needed to answer those questions by people other than us. And that's where the EHIL team first became an invaluable partner to us. They helped us build our understanding of the risks involved in linking data across multiple sources and taught us how to manage and protect information containing what are known as quasi identifiers, which we talk about a lot. These little pieces of information that on their own don't identify who somebody is, but together can tell a very identifying story. And how do you protect someone's information as you're sharing it? Because critical information is needed and intelligence is needed to fuel and plan our system. So, if you're not entirely sure what quasi identifiers are, you're absolutely in the right place this morning to ask the EHIL team more about that. Over the years, the EHIL team has continued to help us mature how we share and use data, and Born has grown in both size and scope alongside. So, most recently, we've had the opportunity to explore the potential for synthetic data as we develop new ways to provide personalized, prospective insights at point of care. So, by using the information we have on current pregnancy, past pregnancies, or past health history collected by the registry, we're testing our ability to generate clinically relevant, meaningful intelligence that can support care and care decision making right where and when it's needed most. And with the help of the EHIL team, we're seeking to start to test these features by using synthetic data that gives us the complexity of the real world experience, but masks the real world identity. And as an artificial intelligence continues to strengthen and accelerate just about everything we do these days, the EHIL team has continued to use their creativity and their knowledge of the health system context to inform how AI is applied to our new health privacy innovation challenges. You may be familiar with the Canadian Medical Association and Abacus Data's most recent survey of Canadian adults that report about half of us now turn to AI for health information, and about 38% use these platforms for treatment advice. But the trust is not yet high amongst the population for these tools. And worse so, this survey actually linked a five-fold greater risk and harm if following health advice obtained online for those who used AI versus those who didn't. So, knowing this trend, Born partnered with EHIL to study what it would take to build an AI-enabled pregnancy companion. And I see Lisa here in the audience smiling because she's a leader in this with us. A tool that's uses specifically crafted technology to preserve the individual privacy of users who will share their personal details about themselves as they enter questions and prompts to share and learn information. All the while embedding into the companion local trusted knowledge bases so that the answers to the questions that people have about their pregnancy journey is ripe with their local context. We're still in the middle of this work, but this type of innovation and this thought leadership, this kind of partnership with the eHealth team, this is why they're getting this award today, and it's so very deserving. Along every step of the way, the research team has helped us to directly engage the public and people with lived experience to know what kind of questions and what kind of concerns matter to them. And in addition to developing ways to protect their privacy as they seek out timely, accurate health information, and using this new way of accessing information for the registry to infuse them with knowledge that's critical to improve their outcomes at the right time in the pregnancy journey. So, what connects all these examples of how EHIL is strengthening our work at Born is not just the technology or the data, it's the trust, has been said here this morning. It's the belief that health data can be used for public good, but only if the people in the institutions using it are worthy of that trust. And it's the belief that health information work is ultimately about people, the families, the communities, and the health system that we're trying to improve. And that's why EHIL has helped Born so much over these years. They've helped us to do the important health information work while protecting individual confidentiality and continuing to push ourselves to be more innovative, more thoughtful, and more responsible with that information. So, on behalf of Born Ontario, I want to offer my warmest congratulations to Khaled and the team. This award is a tremendous recognition of your leadership, but also of your values, your commitment to privacy, and helping organizations like ours responsibly explore what comes next. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Alicia. And now I would like to invite Jordan Hunt from the Canadian Institute for Health Information to come and say a few words. Jordan has provided vision and leadership for CHEO's data governance initiatives and programs in his role as Director of Data Governance, including data content standards, information quality, internal and external data access and dissemination, and data ethics. He has over 20 years of experience working with health data at CHEO and the Nova Scotia Department of Health, and is also a member of the Health Data Research Network Canada's executive management team. So thank you, Jordan, for coming. And I'd like to mention that we have also been working with CHEO for a better part of 15 to 20 years on enabling data access and applying some of the technologies we have worked on. So, Jordan.
Good morning, everyone. As Khaled said, I'm Jordan Hunt. I'm the Director of Data Governance at CHEO, and I'm very happy to be here with you this morning to recognize Khaled and his team at the Electronic Health Information Laboratory here at CHEO. At CHEO, I guess, first of all, our mandate is to collect and compile comparable health information from across Canada. We also we do some public reporting, and we also disclose that data to researchers and health system users. We disclose some data to Born, and like Born, we have a very privileged status under PHIPA, and with that, a responsibility to responsibly steward the data and navigate some fairly how shall I say, sometimes broad or vague legislation and rules, and college teams really supported us in that. So at CHEO, we've had the privilege of working with Khaled and his team for the past 20 years. And throughout that time, they've been pioneers in this field, not only in terms of theory and methodology, but also in developing practical tools and approaches that have allowed responsible data use while protecting the privacy of Canadians. I think it was said earlier, but this team has shown us that privacy and innovation are not competing priorities. Over the past several years at CHEO, we've relied on the de-identification technology that was developed in this lab, technology that became privacy analytics. And more recently, we've benefited from the team's work on synthetic data through replica analytics, and we're excited to see that innovation continue through with Evidata. These are tools that take, as I mentioned, these broad concepts and definitions, ones that I would say lend themselves to highly subjective interpretation and at times seemingly endless debates over things like what does it mean for something to be, re-identifiable by reasonably foreseeable means. It takes those things and it turns them into something that's quantifiable, that allows for clear, consistent, and timely decision-making around data privacy. And it's certainly at CHEO, we've seen that translate directly into more timely access to data for researchers and decision makers. What also stands out is the team's openness and commitment to knowledge sharing through webinars, training courses, publications, and engagement. Khaled and his team have helped take a complex and highly specialized field and make it more accessible. And they've supported the development of future talent in this area. And certainly, through their generosity, I would say, they've allowed each analyst that handles data at CHEO to have a deep understanding of the responsibilities that they all have as part of a prescribed entity, and have helped us to develop and instill a culture of privacy at CHEO. So we're deeply appreciative of the generosity that Khaled and his team have shown with their time and their expertise. They've always been approachable, thoughtful, and willing to share advice or answer questions when complex issues arise. And we're grateful for a long-standing partnership. So on behalf of CHEO, I would like to congratulate Khaled and his team at the Electronic Health Information Laboratory here at CHEO on receiving this award. This is a very well-deserved international recognition of their work and their contributions. And I want to sincerely thank Khaled and his team for their leadership in advancing privacy protection and responsible data use in Ontario, in Canada, and around the world. Thank you.
Well, if this isn't the best way to start a week on a Monday, I don't know what is. So I want to thank all of our speakers and guests today. On behalf of CHEO and the CHEO Research Institute, thanks for joining us here today to recognize and celebrate this truly remarkable achievement. Thank you to Commissioner Dufresne, Commissioner Cousim, Alejandro Mayoral Baños, our colleagues from the Global Privacy Assembly and Access Now, Born Ontario, CHEO, and all of our partners and collaborators who joined us today. Today we've heard about technology and innovation, but we've also heard about something equally important: trust and collaboration. The work of Dr. Khaled El Emam and the EHIL team demonstrates that health data can be used responsibly, securely, and ethically to create meaningful impact. Their work is helping to shape how privacy-preserving research, data sharing, and AI-enabled health research are advancing around the globe. This recognition is a testament to years of leadership, innovation, and collaboration. As you've heard, this work has been going on for 15, 20 years. It didn't happen overnight. So why is this important? Better data leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better health outcomes. And when that work is done with strong privacy protections, we strengthen the public confidence in both research and healthcare for children, rare disease communities, and other populations where protecting privacy is particularly important. Ultimately, that means better care, better research, and better outcomes for children, youth, and families. Today is a reminder that some of the world's most important health challenges require collaborations across researchers, health systems, governments, and privacy leaders, not only here in Canada, but around the world. The success of EHIL demonstrates what is possible when those partnerships come together with a common goal. It also reflects the caliber of researchers and innovators that we have here at the CHEO Research Institute. Our teams are tackling complex global challenges and delivering solutions with international impact. EHIL has become a global leader in trusted health data and privacy, preserving technologies, and we are truly proud to see that leadership recognized on the international stage. I think being a children's hospital, it is apt to have a superhero analogy. And, to quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think we all know that AI has tremendous power, but to use it responsibly is another thing. And so I guess, Khaled, that means you're our Spider-Man. I want to congratulate Khaled, the EHIL team, and your many partners on this achievement. We look forward to seeing how EHIL continues to advance responsible health data use and improve health outcomes for many years to come. Before we conclude, on behalf of CHEO and the CHEO Research Institute, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to Commissioner Dufresne, Commissioner Kusim, and Dr. Alejandro Mayor Baños for joining us today and for their ongoing leadership in advancing privacy, trust, and responsible innovation.